Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're talking on the topic how to overcome in business no matter the knees on our neck. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a diligent listener. I appreciate you for taking out your time for such a difficult conversation. But I think that the conversation is worth it. And so today, let's talk racism. Let's talk racism and its effect on our businesses. Let's talk racism and how we can overcome, no matter the needs of the oppressors on our necks. Let's talk racism and let's see if racism is the cause for why we really can't work together and achieve greater visions, purposes. Let's see if racism is a consequences of mass of the people, especially in our community, the inability, I want to put it this way carefully, the inability to work with one another. Let's see if racism could be the cause and the reason why, and we are unable, or why it's so challenging to really work with one another, despite the fact that we know how important it is to work with one another, despite our slogan that together we stand and together we can go far. Despite all this, we still have a hard time working together. So today, our conversation is going to be an interactive one, and I want to encourage you to be part of this conversation and to contribute your own quarter to it, and so that we can together find ways possible to be able to build relationships, working relationships that could go a long way to improve our businesses. So the topic again for today, you was just tuning in. Thank you for joining us again today. My name is Vera Sompon, and I am the Managing Director of the Sompon Social Service and the Sompon Academy. We are with the Academy, we train different kinds of persons, and we train teachers, pedagogues, we train community workers, community politicians, and in the recent times, we have also added a portfolio to train migrants and their organizations so that they can be able to make the best out of the opportunity. Despite all this, we still realize that there's a lot of challenges and difficulties. And so today I thought that it would be good to really have to see the aspect of racism and how racism really affects also businesses and of course working together. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome again today. This is another edition of the Racism Talk. The Racism Talk came as a result of the death of George Floyd on the 25th of May 2020. The world saw how one black man was being murdered consciously by the hands of a white police officer. And after that, we got demonstrations all over the world. And of course, other people mentioned the fact that Black Lives Matter. And so we decided not only to stay on the demonstrations, we thought it important and necessary to have a continuous conversation to create awareness of the difficulties that is around the subject of racism and of course the difficulties that is around the subject of working together as a result of maybe racism. And we want to continually talk about this because, like some of our guest speakers have said in the previous conversation, we need a continuous reminder of our real and true identity, and we need a continuous unbiased story, and we have to tell our own story. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our platform to tell our own stories in our own languages, or again in the way that we can understand, because even the English language is a colonial language. Some of us even get to mock at ourselves when we do not speak this language properly. We forget that even this language is a colonial language, and that notwithstanding, it is a common language where we can use to cooperate and to collaborate. And so I welcome you all again, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm hoping that we're going to have an interactive conversation. Like I said, we are a tribe. We are here to learn. We're here to inspire one another. We're here to grow. If you're here today, I want to believe that it's because you want to grow. And the topic of today is not a new topic. I have observed that in the community, I have seen many people talk about it, yet we do not really find ways to come out. So I welcome you again to our Racism Talk. Get your knees off our necks. The topic of today is how to overcome in business despite the knees on our necks. How do we overcome? How do we overcome? And before we get into the conversation proper, I think it is but good to get to define what are these needs. So it's important that we really think back again and reflect on the needs. Do you think that you have any needs on your next? I'm talking now to leaders. If you're a leader in your community, you're a group leader, you're a community influencer, you're a church leader, you're a business owner, and maybe you're listening to me, or you will be listening to me after this. The question is, do you think we have some needs on our necks? And if yes, what are those needs and how can we overcome those needs? Not on a single way, not a single story, but together. So I will encourage you to share the link with friends. Share the link with friends. Share the link so that we can have a good conversation today. And if you're here, please, and just let us know where you're watching from. Let us know where you're coming from or where you're watching from. And before we get into a conversation, I want us to get to understand exactly what the needs are. Because when we talk about the needs, if you did not listen or you did not follow the brutal death of George Floyd and saw that man put his knee on that neck, and George Floyd was pleading for his life and begging and calling his mama who is long term died, and calling his mama, help, help. And that man still could not remove his knees from that man's leg, from George Floyd's leg. The question is, what are these needs? If you're here, maybe you can also comment what this needs, what does it stand for? What does this need represent to you? To me, the needs are the different and diverse kinds of oppressors. And these oppressors could be white oppressors. For today, I want to stay on the general kind of oppressors. There could be the white oppressors, there could be black oppressors, there could be people just like you, but having the mindset of the oppressor. And these needs are really, really terrible because they can destroy from the core. These needs can be the laws that are put before you. These needs could be the stones placed before you. These needs could be our behaviors vis-a-vis one another. These needs could just be the inferiority aspect of how we have seen and perceived ourselves. These needs could be insecurities, and all these one can also go back to see that it comes from the ideology. There's an ideology. That ideology, we all know it. So the ideology that the white, everything white is good and beautiful. Everything that is white is excellent. Everything that is white is nice. But everything that is black is bad, is wicked, is ugly. And these are those needs that comes as a result of the internalization of this perception and of this ideology. I like the way one of our speakers put it very well. Diallo, he said it in his speech the first time he was the first guest speaker. And Diallo said something. He said there are four folds to racism. One, it starts by the ideology. The ideology that the white man is great, the ideology that the white man is beautiful, the ideology that the white man knows everything, the ideology that when the white man's right, it's perfect. I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know if you've observed that. The ideology that there's nothing good in our community. Everything that is in our community is not good. It must only come from outside. When it comes from outside, then it's beautiful. That was the ideology that was sold to us. And we bought this ideology unconscious to us. That is why you will hear people say, I think it is not too good. I prefer to have a white coach. I would prefer to have a white doctor. I prefer to have a white psychologist. I prefer to have a white, because in our community, they're really not good. Then, when you start talking like this, be sure that the racism has affected you somehow and you're not yet free from it. Even though you may be even thinking that you're teaching on it, you know everything about it, but when this language is still in you, then it means that we have not yet overcome. And if this kind of language is still in us, it will mean that it will be difficult for us to work together. It will be difficult for us to support one another. Because, by the way, why should we support when we already know that everything good comes from the other side? Have you not seen? I mean, I don't have anything with interracial marriages, girl. I have nothing against. But have you not seen your fellow brother and sister who marries to um, a European and feels all of a sudden that they have arrived? And you're wondering, wait a minute, what is wrong? Wait a minute, what has happened? It takes us back now to another concept where Diallo said the internalization. So after they sold their concept of white supremacy, everything white is beautiful. That's why we have black sheep, we have black goat, we have black devil, we have black Satan, evil is black. All this was so that you and me, as a black humans, will feel uncomfortable and think that we are not worth it. But I have good news for you. I have good news for you today. I have good news for you. And the good news is that these very people who say that black is not beautiful, do you know that they pay handsome amount of monies to go to bronze their body so that they can have a little melanin on them? How I wish we all knew this and get conscious of it. Do you know that these same black people who said that our lips are so thick go to pay handsome amount of money to just have some Botox put there and that they get their lips a little broader like ours? Oh, racism has caused us a lot of harm. And this has also affected our working together. When the European, the Americans, the Asians, whatever, when they arrived in the continent, especially the Europeans, they had the principle of divide and rule. And this is taking me now gradually to our topic today, how to actually overcome racism, overcome every forms of racism, conscious racism or unconscious racism. Racism we accept or we do not accept, that has indirectly destroyed our ability to work together. When they came, they installed the divide and rule principle. The divide and rule principle simply indicates that, like it states, I come in between you, I divide you people, I divide your thought, and then I make one person feels that they are better than the other person, and then makes the other person think that, I mean, the same person that makes you feel you're better, they go on the other side, they make the other person feel like, aren't you seeing the way he or she's behaving? She's wanting to feel that she's better than you. And then they put us together, hit our heads, bam, we start getting confusion, distrust, enmity, hatred. And when this hatred is installed or instilled in us, it's so difficult to work with one another. I remember a few years back, I I admire one lady. She was great, doing a lot of great stuff. And I told her, you're doing great stuff where you are. I'm doing great stuff too where I am. How will it look like if I came into your structure to build up again another area where it's my expertise, but it's in your business? Build it up so that you can also expand again. And you come into my structure, build your expertise in my structure so that we can together expand. Each time there's expansion, there is a little more money that comes in. And that's how it is anyway in the field where we are. And I was so convinced, and I was trying to show her all the wings and showing how the German people work together. They call that in German Designfreundschaften. They are not automatically friends, no, but they consciously work together. So you see 5 companies, you think there are 5 companies. They're actually 5 really good partners or friends that are working together, but consciously have divided their niche so that they can help one another. So as I was telling this lady, I was so happy, and she was nodding her head, and I was so happy that, oh, maybe one person again can understand what I'm trying to say. And then suddenly when she left, the contact just stopped. She blocked everything. And I'm thinking, where did I go wrong? What did I say that was not supposed to be said? And the whole time I was reflecting about it. Then it dawned in me that no, Vera, it wasn't actually you. It is the effect of racism that is still manifesting in her, and she has not yet understood that. It is the effect, the consequences of racism is so strong that if we are not careful, we may not even realize it. And so we will always be putting the blame on the other person, but we never put the blame on ourselves. So in the process, I'm thinking, where did I go wrong? That's one part of me. It's a reflective aspect of me that I always have to think, where did I go wrong? I always have to check first myself. Where did I go wrong? What did I do that I was not supposed to do? How would I have handled differently? And when I did not find all these things, then it really dawned on me how the white man has destroyed us. This would have been 2 companies that would have done amazingly great if they only understood how important it was to work hand in hand. Not because we were friends, but because we understood that the only way to overcome any storms is to unite our strength. This is a very difficult conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I have to always take time to breathe again out because it's really affecting. But let me welcome some of our people who are here. I welcome you, Maria Kaina. Maria Kaina, you're welcome. Thank you for always being there. And Maria said, can you imagine the scenario that someone is forcing your own knee on your own neck? Oh God, we're going to come back to this. Yes, forcing your own knee on your own neck. Ma'am, you have to elaborate on this. Oh yes, I just can only imagine, but I don't know if I've gone through that, but I'm sure that I have once gone through that when they force you to also put your own knee on your own neck. This is horrible. Thank you for being here, Maria Kaina. Charity Waimo, you're welcome. Thank you for always being here. And Charity is also one of the hosts of the Sunpoint Global TV. I want to use this opportunity to also really appreciate people that have come to the realization how important it is to unite strength and force. The Sunpoint Global TV is it's a platform like every other platforms, but I think we have come to the realization that it's important that we unite our forces. And despite the fact that Charity Wermo, she also have her structures, she has amazing work she's doing, she's an author, and she has come to the realization it is also important. Why not? And so we are going to be working together with Charity Waimo on our talk show, and let's help you. Thank you, Charity, for accepting the challenge. And it's going to be beginning on the 26th of August. So you don't want to miss this conversation with Charity. She's going to help you, especially in the area of domestic violence. And what a great teacher if you have gone through that yourself, you have overcome, you're a survivor, and now you've learned the techniques to help other people. Nothing as great as that. So thank you, Charity, for being part of the Sunpoint Global TV and with your own show. Let's help you. So we are inviting every other person here to be part of this show. If you know someone who is suffering from domestic violence, please recommend them this show. It's going to be an amazing one. And the charity said the needs are mainly prejudice. Yes, we can also see it on that line. There are many prejudice. And she goes further to say being ignored and not heard unless you make yourself constantly loud and validating oneself. And that's so strenuous, to always have to validate yourself and all that, or make people know that you're around. And that is exactly the problem we're having, because if you have to constantly make people see you, maybe by saying it out, of course, it also makes other people, it's strenuous for other people to keep bearing. But if that's the only option that we have, how do we go about it? And that is what racism is, aimed at making us feel inferior, and that's true. And this takes us to our topic today. How do we overcome all these challenges that has affected also our working together? How do we overcome this inferiority complex? That is the key. That is the problem that we are facing. We are not able to effectively work with one another because of one of the reasons, inferiority complex. And this inferiority complex was instilled in us by the European ideology, or the white ideology, that everything white is good. So you hear someone say, I don't like to work with Africans because Africans are not structured. I like to work with Europeans. God damn it. You know, you hear someone will say something like, I don't mean that we should not rebuke and correct the things that are not right. That's not what I mean. But I only mean that we have to understand that the powers behind this, our attitude, our behaviors, are really strong. It has been instilled for more than 500 years. And so it takes a lot of consciousness to work with others, takes a lot of consciousness to be able to abandon them, takes a lot of consciousness to grow and to be able to overcome this kind of um, characters, behaviors, emotions that has been placed many, many years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to our discussion today. Our conversation today is the racism talk. Get your knees off our necks. And today we are having the topic how to overcome in business no matter the knees that are on our necks. And we have other guests who are talking about the different kinds of needs and the needs that are needs of prejudice, needs of the inferiority complex, the needs that your own needs that has been placed on your own neck, so that you yourself, you're a stumbling block to your own achievement and your own success. So the question, how do we overcome these challenges? Welcome to our racism talk. Get your knees off our necks. And how do we overcome in business despite the knees on our necks? I just came up with some few things. I was just thinking about it today, and I think that the for me personally would be to understand, first of all, understand the vision, that the vision is given to you, and was given to you, and not to us all. That's so important. Now, if that vision was given to you, you have the assignment to convince us so that we can now work together. And in order for you to convince me or me to convince you, we have to constantly remind ourselves of our history. We have to constantly remind ourselves and create a new ideology. Maria Kaina would say we have to create an ideology that will back us up, will cover us, an ideology that will lead us, an ideology that belongs to us, that we can always turn back and look and say, this is it, right? And I think that it's also important to always remember, yeah, the purpose of your business. Why did you start it at all? Stay connected to that why. Hold on. And I think another very important thing will be to look for mentors, people that you admire. Let them help you train you. Let them help you understand your history. Let them help you understand that we were never always like this before. I mean, those who come from Africa, where I come from, when they tell you the structures that were there, how the people work together, you will be wondering then what happened. So it's important that you get mentors, the right mentors who can help you, train you, support you, inspire you, motivate you in those days like this, where you're so down, that they could motivate you, help you, sustain you so that you can continue. They be your teacher, your guidance to help you. But above all, you just must overcome no matter what. There's just no other thing to say. You just must overcome, because if you do not overcome, it will become so dangerous. Then again, the history will record again that blacks are not doing anything, Africans cannot do anything good, which is not true. We have all the potentials, all the ability. We are strong, we are able, and even more able than we can ever even imagine that we can. So I think that if we understand that no matter what, we must only overcome, then we will keep ourselves going and moving. Um, Charity, I must say, we must teach, we must acknowledge who we are. Knowing one's own identity and purpose is powerful. That is true, of course. If you do not even know your purpose and identity, it will be difficult for you to be able to really, really stand out distinguishedly. So I think that's so important that we have to remind ourselves that over and over. Maria Kaina says, in this corona period, online biz and online networking is an area that is booming. Can you also touch on this specifically? Yes, I think that this is a very important aspect. And indeed, like Izone Laval is one of our coaches, and she is online marketing and sales lady, and that is just her job. And she says If you are not on the online business now, you are just but losing out. You're missing big time. And that is true. That is true because with the COVID-19, it has made us understand that things will never be the same again. Personally, the Sunpon social service um, was never online in this format. We're never online because we have our coaching section, group counseling and all that, and it needs the presence of the people. We have our language courses, we have the family help, and we have the Sompon care, the Sompon Academy with the trainings. So it demanded that we always be with people. And then, of course, our clients are not directly are certainly the migrants, but the migrants are not those that really have to pay for the services. So we have like the migrants, our clients, but other people have to pay for, like the government have to pay for the services. And so for us, it wasn't so important to by all means get into the online. In as much as everybody would say online is good, I was never giving attention to that until the COVID-19 came. And then we realized suddenly that we really did not actually need an office again that much. Of course, we always need an office, but not that much. I can't remember the last time I was in the office. In Now we are on holiday, but the last time I was in Esslingen, it's maybe like, I don't know. We're really not, as COVID came, we didn't go to the office again. So we did everything online. We had to now transform every of our offers, our counseling, our coaching, our teachings, our trainings. We brought them all online. Now, the advantage of online is, especially when you understand the principles, the marketing principles behind it, you will really make good use of it. Let's take, for example, if you're a trainer, if you're having a course, so you arrange your course in a way that it could be in a presentation format, or again in videos like what we are doing. See, like the videos we are doing now, all these courses, we can package them all in a form of a product. We put them on DVDs, or we put them on CV. We put them on in a space in a cloud. In our case, we have the academy web page and the academy school, where every student have their own dashboard, so you can write with the students, interact with the students there. So when you have done your course and all those program, well outlined course, now you can arrange those courses in a way that you you can always sell those courses even when you're no longer there. How? Because the students log into onto the academic page, for example, and when they get there, they have their registration numbers, everything just like in school. And now they pay for a particular course, and then they get the lectures and everything in their dashboard, right? So let's say the trainers are going to train. We're going to put them that all on a video, and so we're going to package that. And every time we can now bring that out again in the market. So let's say we want to talk about business, uh creating up your own business, starting up your own business. So now we have all the speakers that have spoken. We put them very well, put them online, and then we can always real sell that over and over again. That's what is called passive business now, the passive income. So you those people, you see their courses over and over. It's not because they have to be there again. They have done that one time. You take 1 month effectively, you do your course, you do your programs, everything, and then you put it online, package them well, send out. So anytime, especially with the videos, anytime you can always sell that. Like the interviews we do, if they're very good interviews, we can package them very well, put them online, and when time comes, we can also put them as a course, and people can always get in there to purchase it and use it. So now that's the advantage of the online business, and it's really booming because you can, anywhere you are, you can pass an information. So say, Maria, you have um an information you really want to pass to people. So you just sit in your home like I'm sitting now, and you said you teach the people, you teach the course, and then you can now give it out. So I think it's going to be, it is a market space we are not supposed to neglect. And it's so unfortunate for many people who are still doubting to come into it. But I think the internet has got potentials to be able to make someone really get money. You will realize that the people who are really, most of the very rich people, are those people who are doing some kind of online business. And let's take the case of a Facebook. Facebook is an online platform and it's an online business. You know, when we are doing publicity on Facebook, you do not pay much. For example, you can pay per day, depending on the number of people you want to reach, let's say €4 or even €2. You think €2 is small, right? But imagine the millions of people paying €2 per day. I mean, that's an amazing thing. You just can't get poor on that. So, but it needs a system, it needs a structure so that it now can produce all the time. I hope that we are able to answer your question, Maria, and we can always still talk about that. And Maria goes further and says, precisely, please go more in detail. Most times people seem to deviate from the purpose of their business. That is true. Now, you deviate from the purpose of your business when you really do not even have that business in mind. Many a times people don't have business ideas. They have copied and they have pasted something. Now they see that the Sampon Social Service is doing well. They don't know what Sampon Social Service is all about. So they get up and say, okay, then I'll start up my own organization. I think I will be doing helping women and all that, or helping girls, helping boys. I'll just be helping refugees, right? That is good. That's fine. But the thing is, the Sampon business has got a purpose. There was a why, and that why never gets away. So no matter the number of offers we bring, we still stay on the line of the why we created our business. So all other things are just offers. All other things are instruments we're using to still meet the why. Let's take the example again precisely with Jesus Christ. I'm using Jesus Christ as an example because I know many of us know who he is. Now, the purpose of Jesus Christ, what was it? When we understand the purpose of Jesus Christ, then we realize that most of the things, all other activities he did was simply to fulfill that one purpose, right? He was sent here on earth with the sole intention that he should die for mankind. Finish. Now, he could not have died for me if he did not sit with me. Let's take the case of the people he sat with, the disciples. He had to disciple the people. But his intention was not to disciple the people. The discipling of the people was an instrument he used to still meet the very purpose for which he came down on earth. So I think that if you do not understand and the why of your business, you will be jumping here. When this one creates this group, you join, you go create your own group. When this one creates that, you go create yours. And we get all confused. We can have one good business with different activities to still meet the one need of the people. Again, take the example of Sampon Social Service. Sampon Social Service is a social institution to support migrants. It's recognized from the government, the German authority, as a body for youth and children and all that. So we have that recognition, and with that recognition, we can offer diverse programs. So what happens is we have family help. Why family help? Family help because we want to help migrants to identify and to succeed in Germany, right? Yes. Now we have parent education. Why parent education? Because we want to help parents to succeed in Germany, right? Yes. Remember, stay on the purpose, on the why, right? Now we have refugee assistance. Why? Because we want to help refugees to stay and to and come and to arrive in Germany and to be successful in Germany, right? So the one major work we have is a social work to help the people, give them the powers, the ability, the strength, the support, so that they can, from their own energy, do all the things they're supposed to do. And for us to achieve that, we use diverse instruments, but we never forget the core of the work, the why, which is the social work and social counseling. I hope that I've been able to answer that question, Maria Kaina. And of course, in between, you can always ask your question and you can also elaborate more. And my Charity Warimo says mentorship is very, very important to have someone to be accountable to. That's true. I have never, I have never, never, and you will never, I'm very honest with this. I always thought that you can learn your way through. But honestly, I have never come across successful people. When I talk of successful people, I don't mean only financial success, no. Stable people, all round success without mentors. I've hardly. I have never. Because it's practically impossible. I wrote in one of my posts, no one becomes their best versions by themselves. It's impossible. There's just no way, because it is difficult to stand on the mirror and then do the things by yourself. To whom are you accountable to? Who is the one who corrects you? Who is the one who guides you? Who is the one who tells you that this thing you're doing is not correct? Who gives you information that you need? And even in the revelation, I hear many people say, Jesus is my mentor. It is true, it is good. But even at that, you need someone to help you understand the revelations that He gave to you. And therefore, we still have to go. No one ever succeeds, real good success, without having mentorship and training. Because when you are being mentored, you will now be trained by that person. That person would inspire you. That's why I said on one of my posts, also I wrote on Facebook, it becomes difficult nowadays for many of us to have good mentors, because maybe they have been misabused, maybe they have been mishandled, maybe they have been manipulative, and so people are scared about that. But honestly, you must be able to find your mentor. You must recognize your mentor. And you must be able to tell that person, mentor me. And mentorship is also a two-way. I mean, mentorship is not like you say, you know everything and then you are perfect there. And that's where you can mentor people. No, that's not what it means. Mentorship for the mentee must be and have the ability, the capacity, the willfulness to surrender to the authority of another person, irrespective of age, stature, class, origin, and all that, right? And you tell that person, I'm willfully giving you the power to question me. Now, it takes grace to meet a good mentor. I say this often and often. For you to have a good mentor, there are some things you must see in that mentor. Don't just go to someone because someone has successfully made it in their career, in politics, in business, and you think because they have made it, they are mentors. No, that's not how you look at it. Check the character of that person. Is that person emotionally stable to also guide you, to mentor you, to lead you? Is that person whole in his or her own character? Can that person, when that person say yes and really stand on that yes, is that person descriptive enough, mature and descriptive enough? If this is not found in that person, that make that person your mentor. Now, the second thing you must find is that person can be able to coach you. Mentor is a little higher than the coach, because the coach is for a specific goal. You see, like footballers, they have a coach, they coach them, they guide them, they lead them specifically to win that match, specifically to get that goal scored, right? But the coach will be able to now be beside you, not only help you get that goal that you're looking for, but they'll be able to guide you, mentor you, direct you, be there even with all that it has. And that's why they must be able to have the ability to correct you. A mentor that cannot correct you is not a mentor. And that's where we have problems nowadays. Because when you look at people who have started some things, they feel so proud and arrogant that they can't allow themselves being corrected. I know one person who came to me and was talking and talking and talking. Of course, she didn't give me the power to be her mentor, but I just could not hear her keep talking. And I asked her a question. But what would you have done differently? Are you sure you're better than that person? I mean, what you just said now. And the person took it really as offend, right? And like said, I was judging. No, I'm not judging. I think that a mentor should be at the ability, the position to be able to guide, correct when you're going astray, and not have it cold, not be afraid. If the mentor is afraid, how does it work? It doesn't work. And then it's important the mentor is your covering, not a control freak. There is a difference between covering and a control freak. There's a difference between someone who protects you, who is mature enough to see that you have messed up here, but will not expose you. It's so important, so I can still correct you, but I will never expose you. And that's why a mentor is really important to find, if there is need be a certified one, so that if you are afraid of can they not, then you can always work on the things that if they mess up, you can sue them to court. So, and that's why you should pay a mentor actually. And if you can't pay, it's okay, you can see, but you can still ask someone to help you. So back to, yes, mommy, Charity, mentorship is the key, but you have to be watchful so that you don't fall into the wrong hands. And like my husband says, well, if you fall into the wrong hands the first time, then the second time you will learn a little better. So I think that mentorship, yes, is A and amen. And we all need mentors. Why do we all need mentors? Because we are not God. I say this over and over. We are not God. So we all need mentors. The pastor need mentor. I mean, and not even one mentor. We need mentors. You keep hearing I say mentors. If you are financially not where you're supposed to be, you need a mentor in that area. If you are not good at relationship building, you need a mentor at that area of your life. If you are not good in your emotion and keeping your emotion under control, you need a mentor to guide you on how to go about it. In your spiritual life, if you are not stable spiritually and have a solid relationship with your God who created the universe, the heaven and the earth, then you need a spiritual mentor. In fact, you need a mentor on your health and fitness. As you see me now, I'm looking for one good mentor that will be able to trust for my health and fitness. Right? So we all need mentors. And the mentor, please, if you're here and you want to mentor someone, I beg of you, you must be able to also share your experiences with your mentee, so that your mentee understands that you're a human being and you have your flaws and you've made your mistakes. So it's both sides. It's not like if you were God, you're not God, right? So if you know that I'm doing well in business, you can say, hey, I like the way you're doing well in business. Can you mentor me in this area? We need that. We can have diverse mentors. You don't want to know how many I have and how many I had. And you can outgrow your mentor. Because I hear many people say that people come, like you look for a mentor and then after you become their mentor. It's possible. And it is the normal process. You can outgrow your mentor. So when you outgrow your mentor, you come to the level that now you understand the things that he was teaching you, and then you become friends, and then you can also outgrow him. Now, when you outgrow him, you look for another person who knows again that same thing you're looking for much better. But it doesn't mean that that person is not a mentor. No, you have only learned and maybe have outgrown the person in what you have been learning. Even though it is said a student, it's difficult for a student to outgrow their teachers. You can only be at the same level as your mentor, but outgrowing them, I do not know. But it is also possible. And it doesn't mean that the person is not a good mentor. So we should not mix up the things. So yes, mentorship is really important if we have to successfully work with one another, and we have to understand how important that is in our relationships. And if we understand this, I tell you, we'll be able to work together with one another, and life will become very, very easy. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking on racism, how to overcome our challenges, and especially in business, because we know that it's so challenging to work at times with one another, and we have understood that it is as a result of racism. And like Maria Kaina said, racism is the foil for inferiority complex. We have been told over and over that we are not worth it. We are inferior. We can't work with one another. And all these things. And today, I want you to understand that they were all fairy tales. We can very much work with one another. If we are doing this and it has worked, so we want to encourage as many people who are working well with other people to be the light so that others can emulate from them. And then we want to keep talking about the good examples now. Let's stop talking the ones that are not only working. Let's now focus on the good examples. I think that will be my next program now, to bring out those people that are working really good with one another, so we can emulate from them and see that if they can do it, that we can do it. I think usually it is the small minds that really think they can work together. And that takes me to the other aspect of ideas stealing here and there. You hear people keep complaining, they have stolen my idea, they have not stolen my idea. Dr. Alexander Manford said in his speech, he's going to be one of our coaches next week on our business master's class. He said, at the time you are having an idea, like now, as we are talking, an idea just came into your mind. As the idea is coming into your mind, just bear in mind that 1,000 other people are having the same idea, same time. Now, what makes the difference is the boldness and the courage to implement yours before the other people. Charity Warimo said confidence means one realizes it is not a competition but a service. Of course. I mean, with whom are we competing? And that's why many mentorships also fail, because instead of completing one another, we are competing. And the question, we are competing on what? It's because of lack of um confidence. We lack the confidence of self, the abilities that we really know what we are doing. And it's terrible because the people who would have stood the grounds, like the tree, to support, have also failed. And no wonder they say we are falling short of the glory of God. We are falling short of that place that we're supposed to be. And that's why we are fighting one another. If we knew, if the fish knows that their spheres of influence is in the water, what are they looking for in the air? I mean, you know that you will never succeed in the air. So why go there? If the bird knows that their sphere of influence is in the air, what are you looking for in the water? You will never succeed in the water, no matter what. And if the tree knows their sphere of influence is in the soil, the solid rock, what are you going to do in the water or in the air? You will never succeed. And so, because we have even failed to understand the why of our businesses, the why we even started our businesses, the why we can't work together. It makes it so much so that our working and cooperating becomes also difficult. And it is because we have not understood exactly who we are. Maria Kaina says the challenge is that we Africans often don't know how to handle criticism. That is a knee in our neck. Oh, yes, you said it all. I raised my case. You said it all. You've said it all, Maria Kaina, and thank you for that. And that is why we can't have mentors, right? Now, the role of a mentor is not to petty daddy you, it's not to play with you and to daddy you all the time. I mean, then you go get a daddy somewhere and that's all right. The role of a mentor is really this criticism, but in a way that you would be able to be transformed. And why don't we accept criticism, Mommy Maria? Because we have not worked our emotions or emotions. If we work our emotions and we are stable in our emotions, when someone criticizes us, we will look at it more as a gift than as a curse or a problem. I use this opportunity to encourage us. Criticisms are gifts given to us wrapped like in sandpapers. If you make use of those criticism, you will be so amazed at what comes out of it. And I hope that we remember from today that criticism are gifts wrapped to us in sandpapers, and they're the best instruments you can use actually to grow and to work together. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is always running so far, and we have almost come again to the end of our program today. Maria Kaina said it all. Yes, that's true, Maria. Thanks so much. That was a good concluding statement for today, that most of us can't stand criticism. And then it reminds us of the work we have ahead of us, to work our emotions, to go deep, search. Why do you get so angered when someone criticizes you? Why are you so annoyed, unforgiving, bitter when someone tells you the way you did this was not really good? Well, you can take it and then you work on it, or you say, okay, you know what, that's okay, I understood, and you pass over it. You don't have to make, oh, I've learned something with Germans and I'm so implementing them. When you're talking to me, except that I really, you're my friend or whatever, I will always just say, yes, yes, yes. What is my big deal in it? It goes in there, and I don't have time to be rebuking and justifying, because when you can accept criticism, then you will be finding ways to justify. There's no need. There is no need. Let's learn the good habits here and put them into practice. And this aspect of not accepting criticism makes it so much so that even when you write, I mean, you notice people, you are telling them something, they only are finding a fault in what you said, in as much as you try to put it down correctly, right? So we should work our emotions, and that is really destroying us. Our emotions are destroying our ability to work with one another. I want to encourage us. We have come to the end of our show and our program. We understand that emotions could be very dangerous for working together, so let's work on that. We understand that we need mentorship and training. Look for one so that we can actually work together and succeed. We understand that the influence of racism to make us feel inferior has also affected us to work together. But we can overcome that if we understand our history and understand that we are one people and we are supposed to build our continent and our nation. I use the platform to say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not yet registered for the upcoming program next week from the 17th to the 22nd of August next week, just go online and register. You're going to be missing big time if you don't register for the master's class, because there you will get all the tools you need the mentorship tools, you're going to have it there. You get all the tools you need for business to start up your business. Maria Kana, you must go register for this course, because then you will be able to know how to start your own online business. And with the amazing work you're doing now, by the way, on YouTube, you should just put them down well packaged, and then you can be able to sell them over and over. I leave you with that today, ladies and gentlemen. You're such an amazing people, and time goes so quick. We've come to the end of the program. My name is Vera Sompon, and I am the managing director of Sompon Social Service. Until then, see you next week again, and stay well. God bless you. Bye bye.